collect materials. May not be able to put them in the ground. We have a lot of surveying to do and a lot of flagging to do.
How many of the earthworks are complete? I heard this sort of rumor that Alfonso was out there digging, and I have no idea how much work he's done and if it aligns with any of the planning you've done yet, Dan.
All I know is he's done one dam, in the southernmost dam for us at the top of the ravine.
Okay.
The other work he's done is across the road where he's putting in silt traps.
Okay.
And other little water catchment devices. So that's all I know. I think he's waiting for us to site the road. And that's basically what we're going there to do is they call it pegging. Alfonso does anyway.
Yeah.
Is to do that all along where the road's going to be. And then, that's going to take some finesse and some cleanup, and then this first swale. But that's where the hard part is going to be. Is we need the site. The road is where the road's going to be. The swale is going to also follow the contour, but that depends upon where that dam ended up, and that's what we don't know.
Are you planning for the swales to be backwatered, or are they going to drain somewhere?
They are going to, in the main ravine, it's going to be a spreading swale to take overflow, depending on how we do it, from the first dam across the property on contour to the next ravine on the other side.
Right.
And so that should fill up first, and then when that's full, it'll overflow either back into the others, or it will be slightly, the spillway will be lower than the edge of the dam, but the berms of the dam will be higher than the dam. You know what I'm saying? So it'll fill up and then backflow into the dam area on either side, and then flow through there. And then that's the main one. That's where also the water line is coming from. The dam area across over to the tanks. So all those things that we want to get set. So we have road. We've been through this a number of times. Road, swale one, village. And then the wetland area. The idea is to stub in all those pipes and things for the gray water, and that's going to drive everything else, of course, that's coming into that village space. Here's where that shower is, or here's where the toilet is.
You have to hit this elevation, so there you are.
Yeah, exactly. Same with the kitchen. We'll get that sited. We got to still keep about a 2% slope. So those two things, of course. The showers are very close, so that'll be right off the side, and one of the toilets areas, and then the kitchen will be slightly uphill. But it's also on the far end of that constructed wetland, is closer to the kitchen. So we have the dam area is close to the shower, but the back end is way uphill, closer to the kitchen. So that's where that water will come from, and that will have more in it anyway. So that's probably a good idea. Effluent and such.
I have on the conceptual design. It's hard to see the intended, flow patterns, and so that's why I was asking. I wasn't sure if there's another document that gives more water design detail.
No, there's just the space right now for that infiltration pond. There's all sorts of things we can call it. But that's right. It's just where it is until basically we get there. Although all we have is really distances and where that pipe's going to go. And I just didn't get into that detail. There's a lot of detail that hasn't been done yet because I'm kind of waiting.
No, I don't blame you. I understand.
More information. So time to be spent on a lot of other things this time of year, especially. But we have to check out the nurseries. We got to find a source for seed. Traffic is crazy. And shrubs and those kinds of things. We really need to take a trip to the nursery. We're also looking for a truck. Hopefully we'll have money for that, and we can buy our camp vehicle. go back and forth. That's kind of important. And then wherever we can find some trailers, and we were talking about this for water, and I didn't know this but you can get 50,000 liters of water for €50, drinking water.
Yep.
In a tank. So that's what we're going to have to do from May to, I think it was October or September. I think it was September. So there won't be any water unless we dig a well. There won't be any water for drinking. So we'll have to get 50,000 liters at a time.
Yeah,
it's actually not that much.
I've seen the camp org crew has, spec'd a lot of products, but I haven't seen the knowledge base to actually design and install functioning systems. If we're going to go with a biosand water filter and use, shallow groundwater for drinking, is that viable? Is that realistic? It's
not in large volumes.
Yeah.
Right. Short term, front end, not a problem. But then that may also be, the key is the fact that the majority of the time it's a skeleton crew.
Yeah.
And when we do have large groups, great. Let's get, spend €50, fill up the tank, and have all that water and not stress the system.
Yep. That's good. I'm starting to feel reality setting in, and it's making me more comfortable.
Yeah. And that's too with the drinking water. There's funding for the drinking water system. Although I saw that their budget for the drinking water system was about €9,000. But I don't recognize a lot of the line items that are on there.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, ceramic filtration and all those kinds of things, which is great. But again, it's a matter of scale. What are we trying to do? How much do we actually need?
Right.
And I think we can moderate that to the point. What is the standard crew that's going to be there, and start there, and then add capacity with drinking water from have it delivered. And that probably would be more secure and cheaper to do anyway in the long run.
Yes.
Back to camping, less of a small village.
Yeah, thankfully, I think.
Yeah. So, and those parts too. And I asked I asked early on, as far as looking for who knows about this, who knows about installation of this, and I didn't get a good response as far as no one has any experience with putting this in.
I think the only one who has some experience is Marcus, and they were trying to get him back, but he's helping, but he's not really involved. I don't know. Ashley knows. But we have an agenda. Who can take notes in perfect English?
I can start.
Okay, thank you. So the first one.
I promise it won't be perfect.
Yeah. You are always perfect, Paul. Good. The first point is new designers. I put this because I got a request from a Spanish girl. Wait.
I'm making too much noise.
Open it. Yes.
There we go.
Yes. Okay. So the first point in the agenda is new designers. I got a request from a Spanish designer, a woman that wants to belong to our group. So the question is how to integrate it, and I think is for my opinion is that it's good to have new people because we have a lot of work to do, and also another couple of our eyes are always good to improve the designs. But I want to hear your opinions about it.
I think it's incredibly important to build a very strong core team in Spain. I think that people outside of Spain, we can comment and have ideas, but that we need to start building the human community around the camp. So go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, really, it is. Yeah, we provide services, but I think, right, it needs to be informed by the local people and driven by the local people. Sure.
And Ray?
Okay. I agree. We need more brain power, and we need local brain power. So I'm in favor of it. And I was only halfway through my thought about what Paul had mentioned a little while back about how we bring people in and how we can help them find their feet and be productive. So just a little bit of thought about that would be good. I am not by nature a human resources person, although I like working with people, so I'm more like a sponsor guide type of person rather than a set up a protocol kind of person.
Okay, then what I will do, I will give her a phone call this week to explain her how we are working and just get her on board. Okay, and then she will.
And if she wants to talk to me at all, just for kind of my experience.
Yes.
What's her name?
I will struggle with my Spanish.
Okay.
Sarah.
Sarah. Okay.
So she will be joining us in Discord, and then I will include it in our Discord circle, and then I will invite her also to the meetings.
Next topic?
Yes, updates, progress done from last week. I think Daniel already explained, but maybe you can explain it again because Paul was not in. Daniel is gone? Daniel? Okay, I will explain it then. So we made already a proposal for Marike for the pre-camp budget. Let me know if you already were here because I don't remember when you were in, Paul.
I didn't hear that.
Okay, we sent to Marike a first proposal. The problem we have is the timing, as you know already.
Yeah.
And I sent the paper for the greywater system to Jose that he has to adapt it because he prefers to use bleaching chambers instead of constructed wetland. So he has to, based on my template, add the things are modified and also give a list of materials and prices because he has just put a global price for this greywater system. So, and with this, Marike has said that she can start another kind of crowdfunding process or funding process just to get money for this system and also for the water in general.
So you were asking Marike to do that or asking if we could do that?
No, she offered to do that, but she's waiting for the document. So I asked Jose to update my document and then offer to us for comments because it's going to be at the end it's going to be public. So it has to be perfect, I think. That's all. And if everything is okay and a miracle happens with the materials, we can be there on the 11th of April. Otherwise, we chose 15th of May to be there, I think. But if we go 15th of May, it will be very late to put the seats. So we will just make earthworks and we will not put any seats until fall. Because we start in the dry season, very dry season. And that's all.
Is April 11th even a reasonable time for seating?
It's also late, but okay. Yeah, that's reality, as you said.
Yep.
Yeah. In fact, in the budget, we didn't put seats at all because we thought that it was already very late and we will leave it for the fall. I hope that we can get Daniel back, because I want you to explain us this sample calculator you made.
Yeah, sure.
But, yes, I don't know if he can see images, Daniel, because
that's right.
He can see us. He
can see us, but he cannot hear us.
And he was in traffic, so
Okay.
he may be having to deal with, I don't know if they have toll booths or what.
Okay.
So
maybe I should just show you, the calculator is very simple. I can show you, and then if you guys want to use it or adapt it, that's fine. But does that make sense?
Okay, yes. And I forgot to tell you, Paul, I already made the YouTube video with your explanation for the budget template. And, and I will put the link in Discord if you agree. It's okay for you?
Okay. Oh yeah, please. Anything's fine.
Okay.
I have no shame.
Okay. No, it's very nice.
I didn't brush my hair.
Me neither.
Let's see. I'm going to the Plant Guild spreadsheet. I think that's where I put the tab. I can't remember now.
And you can share the screen, because I am recording. If Daniel
oh
loses
dear,
it, then I will upload it. There's no problem.
I am not. I can't share the screen because I'm on my phone.
Wow.
So
is there something I can do?
why doesn't if you go to the calculator page, I will explain it, and you can point.
Let me see if I can get to the calculator page.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go to Discord.
Yeah.
Open Discord. Yes.
Ask me to dig a hole. Don't ask me to go to these things.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm in Drive. Where is this thing?
I copy the link to the chat. Okay.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Necesito tanto ayuda.
Everyone. Everybody needs help.
Gracias. Okay, this is beautiful.
And then there's a tab. It's the fourth tab called Sample Calculator. So just to give a little background too, around 10 years ago, I developed a database for calculating planting quantities for large restoration installations, and did some teaching around that. And we tried to come up with a way of being able to generate templates for a complex, dense vegetation that you could reuse the templates over and over again and apply them to any area, and then automatically generate lists of quantities, and then have that feed into project management. So, we have an example where you have, a 15-acre site with, different elevation zones. Some are wet, some are dry, have lots of different templates for different situations. And then say, this area is half template A, half template B. This area is half template C. And then you press a button and it says, these are the plant counts. And it turns into, and then you say, well, I can get these plants at this nursery and this nursery and these plants at this nursery. And then you can, you have a request sheet immediately that you can fax to the nursery. And then you start, so just to try and get the design, have the design into the workflow and have the connection between the design and the workflow very, very smooth. So this is a big simplification because the other product is messy and requires lots of learning. But this is the same idea on a small scale.
We missed you.
Yes.
I'm having a real problem with people parking in this lot. They give you a ticket, you go in, and there are no spots.
Wow.
So it's like, okay, how does that work now, where you have no place to park?
Okay.
Okay.
Now we see
now
your
we're all
screen.
here.
Okay.
Here,
Sorry.
we're all ready. No
Okay.
worries. Your timing perfect. We'll just cut that part out of the video.
Right.
Yes.
professional development. Okay, so Dan, just to catch you up,
Sorry.
This is a strategy I used back when I was doing large-scale restoration installation.
I heard that. I was listening.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah.
So here on the screen in front of us is a very, very simple version of a calculator. There are, I wish I had some good diagrams. There I have a presentation that I could send out, a PowerPoint from way back when. But so the idea is that in the green are data about plants. So these are species, and they have, we're identifying a particular unit type, whether it's a bare root or potted or whatever. I made these up. I have no idea how you specify plants in Spain. But as an example of how we specify plants here, there's different types of bare roots, so on and so forth. And then a unit cost. And then we get to this thing, which is how much space does each plant take up? And so that is the crux of the whole question, right? If you're trying to calculate quantity, then what's the footprint of each plant that you do the multiplication by? So there are two options for that choice, I think. One is you base it on mature spacing. So if you want each tree to be 20 feet away, if you want each tree to be 8 meters apart, then each tree would have 64 square meters for each tree, and so you set the spacing at the desired mature size. So then 100% planting, if you're planting 100% of your area to that template, then you would have, trees at 8 meter spacing across the whole landscape on a grid, right? So and then if you wanted to mix two trees, you would say they're each 8 meter spacing and 50% one, 50% the other. And then you would just divide the area by 64, get the number of trees, multiply it by the percentage, and get the count for the area. The challenge then is, how do you do a site where you have different layers? So if you have different layers, so let's say you have your production tree, and this is for restoration, so that the strategy is very different in restoration. So one is to base it on the mature tree size. The other possibility is to base it on a desired competition. So in restoration, often I'll plant lots and lots of things all together, knowing that in 3 years, maybe 4 years, they'll be fighting each other. So you're creating a competition. And so then your spacing is not based on mature size, it's based on your 3-year or 4-year size, right? You're trying to, because typically when you plant a perennial, the first year it sleeps, second year it creeps, and third year it leaps, right? So maybe year 3 or year 4 is when you actually have a full speed plant and you want to close canopy and start having a competitive environment. So in that case, the spacing is based on a prediction of how big your plant will be in year 3 or year 4. And then that gives you a basis for deciding cover or deciding the footprint, and then deciding planting density. So there's other factors you can add to the calculator that I did not add. For example, survival. If you expect only 80% survivorship, then you could increase your density, to try and compensate. So these are all ideas. So now with that idea out of the way, the calculator, the green section is data specific to the species. And what I found is that it makes sense to, there's the species, there's the size of the plant you're planting, and then there is the spacing that you're going to plant it at. And so those three things are related. If you're planting small stock, it'll take longer to establish. Maybe it'll be the same mature size, but it will be, if you're trying to go for a competitive environment, you may have to plant more small plants versus a few larger plants too, depending on how quickly they get through transplant shock. So here's the other piece of the puzzle, is these here on the top, canopy, shrub, ground, these are basically templates. So there's a whole area, which is 1 hectare in this case, just for example. And the next question I'm asking here is, what are the templates? Different, and this could be something else. It doesn't have to be shrub. It could, be canopy B and canopy A. However you're organizing your thinking, it doesn't matter. But because we're all into permaculture and stuff, maybe we'll think about strata and think about canopy and shrub and ground. But you could add, canopy A, shrub A, so on and so forth. So only on this calculator, you only fill in the yellow sections. Only the yellow sections change. So the green sections are cut and pasted from a list of plants. So you develop all your plant specifications. You can cut the plants, paste them in that you want, and then you make decisions about which plants are in which template, and then the relationship within the template. Uh-oh, something bad happened. Oh, I see. There we go. So there's so in this case, really the math is really here in the count. And then the strata, this is just a lookup. And these are all things that we can, I tend to use the tricks because I like spreadsheets. People that don't like spreadsheets probably shouldn't use so many tricks because they break and then you have to fix them. So in this case, it says here's canopy, and then it goes and looks up on the table, says, oh, canopy is 50%. So this goes to there. So there's a connection between these two cells. That's all that's happening here. So it's an automated way. And then this is the value that multiplies through. So it's 1 hectare divided by 16 feet per plant times 50% coverage of the template. And then within that template, it's 40% olive. So this is an example here. This is suggesting that our canopy is 40% olive, 30% almond, 15% Judas tree, and 15% pistachio. Just made it up. I don't know. And so then, I'm saying that the trees cover half of the ground. So, and my assumption is that this is the mature tree size. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. We should come up with the right size for a mature tree. So maybe it's actually more like 8 meters.
Sorry, Paul. Yeah. There is something that I'm not understanding, because I see that we had the same cover spacing and footprint for both olive tree and almond tree, and the same data, and then we got 40 and 30. How is this possible? Or there is something that I didn't understand. Because
of the cover. So this is something we chose. So the choice is, So these numbers here are the majority of the choice. So,
And where are we specifying our choices? Because we just filled in the yellow place and then.
Yes, the choices are specified here.
Okay.
In this yellow place, and also here.
Okay.
So again, so this says in column H, it asks which template is this plant a part of? Okay. So these 4 plants are the part of the canopy template.
Yes. Okay.
And that canopy template is 50% of the cover.
And then the green area, we need to have 1 per horizon. So if we define different horizons, we need to have a different plant list per horizon. That's what you
origin?
mean. Horizon?
Like as from the person you buy it from?
Horizon?
Oh.
Horizon.
Sí, okay.
Horizonte en español.
Yeah.
Horizonte.
Horizonte.
Like, for example, the tree horizon, the shrub horizon, the ground cover horizon.
No, I mean successional horizon. So I think, for example, I decide to make my first calculations for the first 5 years in the camp, and then for the next 5 years, and then for the 20 years. So we will need 3 different lists of plants, because the sizes, they will not, the plants will not be mature. So we will need 3 different lists with the different maturity of the data of the trees and the shrubs, or not, or so I'm mistaken.
So are these new plantings at year 1? You're planting at year 1, year 5, and year 3, or year 10?
No. In case that I want to see what's happening in this time. Okay.
Yeah, I think this calculator is only for planting.
Okay.
And
just for planting.
Not for predicting. Yeah.
Not for predicting. Okay.
But the planting density, yes. So the planting density is based on a prediction.
Yes.
And so the advantage is then, if you're doing monitoring, you can say, and also you have captured your intent. You made a prediction. You have described your prediction. You have planted based on your prediction. And then you can go back and monitor and say, was I right or was I wrong?
Yes.
So it helps connect the planting design to the monitoring.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I like that as possibilities are great. We can incorporate this into our other database or our other spreadsheet. Because we have one for polycultures, which this would work well. That calculates our plants.
Yeah. And it forces you to make predictions about your polyculture. And then you can actually go back and make a quantitative observation of your polyculture and compare it to your prediction. Or someone else can, because there's a record. Yes. And in my world, one of the big problems is there's different people designing, different people planting, different people monitoring, and there's no communication. So part of this strategy was to try and create a written record of the intention and the installation, and then you can compare it to the outcome.
Yes, also because we come from different countries, and also in Spain from different regions. So the idea of the growing of a tree is different depending on the region, and in the semi-arid regions, the growing is very, very different. So I think we will need to have something to monitor that what we are doing is correct.
So I think that there's so this is just I think is there anything more I need to explain about this tool, or does it make sense?
It's okay for me.
Makes sense.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to offer this idea. I can also I could post a PDF of my PowerPoint presentation.
Yes.
And you can see if there's any ideas in there that are useful.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, enough done.
Yeah.
Good thinking, good work. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. How do I stop now?
Yeah, it's very good documentation for us on this. What I think the efficiency of is when you have, like you say, the templates. You have a certain polyculture that has all this set up already. Yes. And then you only have to do it once, and then you do variations of that for different diversities. All you're really changing is your cover or your spacings or the numbers.
No.
If you really want to get fancy, what you do is, instead of just having the common name here on the far left, you have a code. Maybe you use a special code for a species and a stock type, right? And then you just type in the code, and then you have the computer look up the data. So you can create a template very rapidly just by typing in species codes. And then you can go instantly from the conceptual design of the template to the cost per unit.
Yeah. So this is like a lookup table you're talking about?
Yes, you would use a lookup table, and so all your species would be on another sheet. All of this green data would be on the other sheet, and then you have a code that you just type in here, and it populates all the data.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that's
would it anticipate, like if you started typing, say, what's hard to do with codes is when we have a spreadsheet already that's got 5 plants on it. Anything we need to do to each one of those is difficult. So we try to go with what we already have, which is the scientific name, so that will it anticipate? It does that for a lot of things. It fills it in partially for you, or it gives you a choice.
I don't know about Google. I use Access databases when I'm developing, and so you have more control. I don't know about Google Sheets. You could use, what I often do is what's called a 6-letter code. So olive tree would be OLEEUR. And so you use 4 letters genus, or 3 letters of genus, 3 letters of species, and then a code for the stock type. So I'd have different codes for different pot sizes, and then I can mostly remember, because you don't have to remember the code, you just know the species and the pot size.
Right.
I found that's the easiest.
That's maybe phase 2. Most of this information, though, is stored. The only thing that you're really changing is what?
The yellow.
The coverage or what its position.
The template, the layer of the template, and then also the cover within the layer.
Right. Okay. Right. And because things overlap, you can't have, it doesn't add to 100%. You're always going to be over 100%. Okay.
You can choose whatever you want. So if you want to have your layers overlapping, then you can have, in this case, I said ground cover is covering 80%, the shrub layer 30%, canopy 50%. I don't know, however you want to. The nice thing about this is it doesn't decide your design. It just forces you to organize your design in a particular structure.
Right.
Yes, you need to give the inputs, and then you get the gray output.
And it's just the big advantage is that it makes you can be faster, going from, if you have the areas of your landscape, you can go very quickly from conceptual design to sending faxes out to nurseries same day, and that's the advantage.
Okay.
And then if you need to change something, you can very easily do design iteration. If you're working with a group of people and they say, well, no, let's change this a little here, change that a little there, then you're done. You don't have to redraw or recalculate or anything. It's instant collective design.
But it's a very good teaching tool also. So the more things we have like that people can work with, the better. To kind of communicate. I mean, just imagine there's from the templates that we have, the spreadsheets that we have, the plant list that we have, the database that we're working with, all those things, and then some more things like this. It really helps develop more skills for people to understand the complexity of what we're trying to do, conceptually and then also practically speaking. It's a nice tool.
So the next topic was management regime and zonation. I wrote some stuff down. I don't need, if it's useful, great. If not, no. But I did produce a map showing zones and suggesting and showing area. So I'm wondering if maybe I can show you that map.
Yes.
And you can tell me if it's useful. And then if you need me to change it, then I can change it.
Okay.
Let me see if find it. So where?
So that was on the PDF that you edited,
yes.
right?
Yes, in Discord. Okay.
Where was that? Plans, maybe. There it is. Camp design area. Zoom. Okay, here we go. Start sharing again. There we go.
Yes.
Here I should let me go to my own desktop. Sorry, I will be able to manipulate it more easily. Let's see, how does that work? Personal.
Is it in your wiki or in our folder?
Sorry, it is in your folder,
Okay.
in the plans folder. Let's see. Oh, damn. I put it somewhere else, sorry. It's in my GIS folder, not in my work.
Okay.
Spain. Maps. Okay.
What I saw looked great, because if we can combine that with a table.
I can export this as an Excel table. So there we go.
Does Acrobat do that when you do the labeling?
I don't think so. All this work is in GIS, and then I export to Acrobat to Adobe as a map.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I just basically one thing for this distance here. For this distance here, I use 10 meters for the road and the right of way. Basically said 10 meters is going to be a mess. And so I don't know if that's right or not, if we're going for a narrow road.
Oh, I cannot see it.
Oh, I don't think we're seeing anything.
Okay, sorry. Try again. Your screen sharing is paused. Here we go. Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so several assumptions I made in drawing this. This distance between across the road is 10 meters. So I just I drew a line down the middle and said it's a 10 meter wide road, I think. So I wasn't sure if that was too much or too little or what.
Including ditches, it's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the right of way. The mess will be 10 meters wide.
Yep.
I followed the dam lines to chop up this section, and I just arbitrarily cut that there at the top in order to divide up the valley. I assume that the edge of vegetation means something. It's where he can't plow, and so maybe it gets steep or bumpy or something. And maybe that's because of flooding. So my assumption is that flooding creates roughness that prevents him from plowing, and therefore the vegetation indicates a bank full valley width or something.
It's very wet there. That's where the test holes are, and that's basically, it's very flat because it's filled in, but it's also saturated soil in that area.
Okay.
Then what's the 4-digit number?
Sorry, the 4-digit number is the area meters. Sorry. Basics. The first number is a code, a unique each zone. The second number is the area in square meters.
Okay.
So maybe this is enough, and if you have suggestions for changing this, just send me an email or post it on Discord and say, and put a mark on it and say, cut this here or cut that there or divide this in a different way. And I can do that fairly easily. may take me a couple of days to find the time, but it's not a big task.
Could you replace this with an updated version PDF? If the underlying image, because this is an old one.
Oh, yes. So, yes, that takes a little more work. I have to bring the image into ArcGIS, and then I have to stretch it so it fits, and then I have to cut new lines. So it's a little bit of a project.
You bent this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you in order to make
little,
because the projection is different, depending on where the map comes from. So, so I have to take your design and stretch it to fit my map reality.
Yeah. Another reality. Great.
Exactly. different universes.
Yeah.
So I let me know, maybe if you send me, maybe decide when you're done changing it, and then send me that, and then I can do this again. And I think this will be if I were doing it, it would be useful for calculating quantities and everything. So.
Right. Yeah. It's actually it's good. Right now you can see all those little green circles are aligned. I think Regina knows this, but those are actually dashes. They're actually round dashes in a line in Illustrator, which is the easiest way to place a lot of plants in a very short amount of time and have them consistent. But I can also count. I know that I can count the length, or it will give me the total length of all those lines, and then I just calculate the number of plants. But that is changing relative to the size that we're, like you say, we're going for the canopy. Regina was telling me, we're not using mature size for olive trees. Doesn't make any sense because they're pruned, and they're all pruned to like 3 meters. So we should have it at 3 meters, not 10 or something.
Yep. And it could be that for most of this, it makes more sense to do linear measurements, and to base planting quantities on lines. And in that case, the calculator is maybe not so useful. Yeah.
Well, for seed and for ground cover and for materials like we need for mulching, that's it's great to have that.
And also if you have strips, a lot from that. Yeah. But if you have a length, you can say it's 100 meters long, but it's 4 meters wide. So you have 400 meters of strip planting with the tree, and then you can calculate. You can use the calculator to do quantities on the strip, or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So just when you're ready, if this is useful, when you're ready, send me a final design, and I can stretch and do the line work and the calculation.
Right. Okay. Most of the areas haven't changed much. Just the garden space, the road hasn't changed. The swales haven't changed. I don't believe so. I think this is fairly correct right now, but we'll get an updated one.
Okay. And then the big mystery to me is this space here. And what's happening, in particular in relation to the swales, coming through the property, to know what's the interaction between the water system and the human landscape. That seems like one of the largest sort of design questions in my mind, especially if we have equipment on site. And changing it later will be much harder.
And also, Paul, area 24 will be for the camp, I think.
24.
24. I think this we talk. Remember, Daniel, that we were talking to extend.
Expanding.
Yes, to expand. Yes.
It'd be nice to have the social area away from the sleeping area too. For us old people.
Yes,
well, that's why we have those swales / moats. We have little bridges we can draw up at night.
And even they were also talking about taking a place of their numbers are very small for me. I cannot see them. I think 16, a piece of 16 for the camp also.
Yeah.
This part of the vegetable, take it also to put sun tents. So.
Right. There's a lot of expansion.
For the human.
Anticipating some kind of huge need.
Thank you.
Which is fine, but we're just basically, let's just plant it all. And when they need to expand, they can.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm just going to finish typing in some notes, but then I have to run off. I think we're at 9:21. I don't know if there's something else we wanted to talk about.
No, I think that I just put suggestions to listen to someone. But I think we already talked a lot. Unless someone has suggestions, we can stop.
I would like if Paul could put that in the folder, that the PDF and the spreadsheet for those areas that you delineated. I think we could populate that, and that would be very helpful for Marika and funders and people, so we can say, this is the function of this space. Here's what we're doing.
Yes.
I think it's another good tool to have.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe I'll ask you to give me the final design and at some point, then once we can do some back and forth, and I can actually, I can export those lines into Google Earth. We can create attributes for those lines or labels. We can put the polygons into groups and color code them. So there's all kinds of things, or you could take them into Illustrator and work with them there. So maybe after we get the final design and we think about it, we can decide if there's something we want to do with those polygons.
Yeah, I'd really like to overlay that design on top of Google Earth with then the lines that you have, and then we can have that KMZ file that people can go look at, and that would be also a great tool to have with rollovers and
and there's Adam's been trying to teach himself SketchUp, and I know there are ways to bring SketchUp into Google Earth, and I know that I think Marcus even did some SketchUp work, so that would be super slick, is if we could actually create three-dimensional landscape in Google Earth for people. That would be a phase 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's finish the meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay. See you next week, or in 2 weeks. We will see if it is the need for another meeting, or we can wait for 2 weeks. We will see. Okay.
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 Just so you know,
see what happens the next week.
And I'm probably going to try and slow down, and I'm not going to mess around in eco design. I'm going to focus on just institutional structure and try and help Marike and John come up with a plan.
Thank you.
Okay. That's great.
That's very nice.
Okay.
Okay.
See you.
Bye.
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 Bye.